after a car ploughed through so many people at a Christmas market. More coverage to come. This is BBC News.
Hello and welcome to World News America. I'm Caitriona Perry in Washington. A car has driven into a crowd at a Christmas market in Germany. Authorities say it's an attack that killed at least 2 people. 11th hour talks continue on Capitol Hill to strike a funding deal and avert a looming government shutdown. American diplomats have had their first official meeting with the new rulers of Syria. Hello and welcome to BBC World News America. Well, let's begin with some breaking news. An apparent attack at a German Christmas market. At least 2 people are dead and more than 60 injured, local authorities say, after a car drove into a crowd at a Christmas market in the eastern German city of Magdeburg in what officials are calling an attack. Republican politicians in Washington are scrambling at this point to get a spending bill approved by a vote in the US House of Representatives to avoid a government shutdown at midnight Eastern Time. There had been a bipartisan agreement which was derailed by criticism from President-elect Trump and his close advisor Elon Musk, who had suggested a new deal. But dozens of Republicans joined Democrats to reject that Trump-backed idea, as it included a plan to increase the debt limit. A government shutdown would shut down federal services and pause pay for government workers just days before Christmas. The White House confirmed some agencies have already begun warning employees of their potential furlough. House Speaker Mike Johnson led a closed meeting with Republicans a short while ago, some of whom seemed optimistic about the next vote. Well, to discuss all of what's going on now, I'm joined by our North America correspondent, Anthony Zirker. Anthony, listening to the Congresswoman there and the clips from her Republican counterparts a bit before that, it's not clear whether this deal's going to be done or not.
It's not clear yet.
All right, well, we'll wait to see what happens. A long night ahead for everyone involved, I think. Anthony, as always, thanks so much for talking to us.
My pleasure.
Now, American diplomats have had their first official meeting with the new Islamist rulers of Syria in Damascus. The US Assistant Secretary of State, Barbara Leaf, met members of HTS, which overthrew President Assad just 2 weeks ago, and discussed US support for an inclusive Syrian-led process that would lead to a representative government. Do stay with us on BBC News for the latest on that story and all of the day's news. I'm Caitriona Perry. Thanks for watching. I'm Caitriona Perry in Washington, and this is BBC World News America. A car has driven into a crowd at a Christmas market in Germany. Authorities say it's an attack that has killed at least 2 people. Lawmakers vote on another spending bill as Congress tries to avert a looming government shutdown. American diplomats have had their first official meeting with the new rulers of Syria. Hello and welcome to World News America. Now we begin with some breaking news. A Christmas market in Germany was turned into a scene of carnage tonight after a car ploughed through crowds, leaving at least 2 people dead, including a small child, and injuring over 60 people. This is the scene live there now, and that is a map where you can see just where the city is. You can see their emergency services and police are still in attendance, and all hospitals in the area are preparing for this mass casualty event. The suspect is said to be a 50-year-old doctor who's a national of Saudi Arabia and who has been in Germany since 2006. The incident took place in a market in the centre of the city, Magdeburg, in East Germany. With more, here's Francis Reid. Now, we have some breaking news to bring you. Just within the past few minutes, members of the US House of Representatives have approved a spending bill which will avert that threatened government shutdown. The vote was passed with the support of the Democrats. More than 30 Republicans, though, voted against it. The measure to fund government operations until March was passed just hours before the deadline of midnight Eastern Time, which is when it would expire and the government would no longer be funded. An earlier plan, which had been backed by Donald Trump, was decisively rejected. Now, a government shutdown would have paused federal services and paused pay for government workers just days before Christmas. The White House confirmed some agencies had already started warning their employees of the potential of a furlough. That has now been removed. But let's talk about this breaking news. I'm joined here in studio by our North America correspondent, Anthony Zerker. Anthony, we were talking just a little while ago. Would this happen? Would it not? How long would it take? It's a done deal at this point.
It's a done deal.
Well, as we know, anything and everything is possible in American politics these days. Well, we'll get the view from the Democratic camp a little later on in the programme. We're going to speak to Congressman Glenn Ivey. But for the moment, Anthony, thanks so much for that.
My pleasure.
Now, American diplomats have had their first formal meeting with the new Islamist rulers of Syria in Damascus. The US Assistant Secretary of State, Barbara Leaf, met members of the HTS, which overthrew President Assad just 2 weeks ago. And they discussed US support for an inclusive Syrian-led process that would lead to a representative government. She said they spoke about the future of Syria's political transition with leader Ahmed al-Sharaa and announced that the US would scrap a $10 million reward for his arrest. Well, that is it for the moment. I'll have plenty more shortly. Do stay with us here on BBC News and stay tuned, because coming up after the break, we have the latest episode of Path to the Presidency. And this week, myself, my colleague Sumi Somaskanda are joined by Courtney Subramanian, and we'll have all the latest US political news ahead of the inauguration. I'm Caitriona Perry. Thanks for watching.
Hello there. Well, it's a very windy weekend in store.